Hello students, welcome back to your online video classes. In the previous class, we have started our new chapter 1, that is food and human health. So, I have told you that food from which we get nutrition, proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, etc., which are very important for our various body functions. Then we studied the vitamin malnutrition and the disorders which are related to this kind of malnutrition. Then we discussed the protein malnutrition and two main disorders and their differences as well, that is kwashiorkor and marasmus. Then we discussed the mineral malnutrition, and in table 1.2 several minerals and their functions, their role in the body are given. Then we studied the potable water, the water which is safe for drinking, and several contamination which are present in water and their side effects. We have discussed the disease dracunculiasis medinensis. After all these kinds of worms and contamination of water, we have discussed the obesity, that it is the excess fat deposition which affects the normal physiology of body. Then we discussed the disorders related to obesity. And today we will start the topic blood pressure. Blood pressure is actually the pressure exerted by blood flowing in the arteries or any kind of blood vessels. Mainly we measure the blood pressure of arteries. When blood flows from arteries, it flows from heart towards the body. If the blood is flowing towards lungs, then it will carry the deoxygenated blood. And when it carries the blood to the other parts, then arteries will carry the oxygenated blood in which oxygen is present in abundant amount. So, blood pressure is expressed in two terms. First of all, the systolic pressure. Systolic pressure is the pressure of blood vessels in which blood is flowing when the heart is contracting. That means it is pumping blood to all over the parts of body. Second one is diastolic pressure. It is the normal pressure in which heart is working in its normal way. It is not very much contracting or expanding. The heart is in relaxed condition. At that time, the pressure exerted in the blood vessels are known as diastolic pressure. In a normal person, that means a person having a normal blood pressure will have the systolic pressure in the range of 90 to 120 mmHg and diastolic pressure will be 60 to 80 mmHg. So, an instrument used to measure the blood pressure is sphygmomanometer. It is the instrument which measures the blood pressure. So, regarding blood pressures, there are two scientists. First of all, Copeland. He defined the blood pressure in 1983, and Stephen Hales, he is a renowned scientist who in 1733 measured blood pressure in the tail of horses. So, Stephen Hales was the scientist who measured the blood pressure first time. Then there are two disorders related to the blood pressure. First of all, low blood pressure, and the second one is high blood pressure. So, low blood pressure, in which the blood pressure is reduced in the arteries and veins. Due to the reduced blood pressure, oxygen and nutrient availability decreases to the vital organs of the body like heart, liver and kidneys. Due to that kind of unavailability of nutrients and organs, the functioning of the major organs are affected, and in severe cases, these vital organs, heart, liver or kidney, can damage permanently. Second one is high blood pressure. High blood pressure is mainly related to the lifestyle of a person, in which the blood vessels exerts an excess pressure to the walls of the vessels by the blood flowing in it. Some habits, or you can say the emotional reaction of a person like anger, anxiety, jealousy, confusion and eating more food than needed, all these conditions and all these activities in the lifestyle may lead to the high blood pressure. Like consumption of white sugar, spices, oil, ghee, pickles, sweets, meat, tea, cigarette smoking and alcohol drinking, all these leads to finally the high blood pressure. Apart from these, the absence of exercise from their daily routine will also lead to the condition of hypertension, that is high blood pressure. Such patients, along with taking medicine, must take care of their lifestyles. They must take the diet which is in abundant amount have potassium in it. as potassium will help them in maintaining their blood pressure from high to normal. They must avoid the foodstuffs, that is the packed food items, junk food in the market, as these junk food contains an excess amount of sodium in it. But the person having high blood pressure need potassium diet. Along with potassium, they need calcium and magnesium in a balanced form in their diets. Apart from the diet, they must have a daily routine of physical exercise. The best exercise for a high blood pressure patient is 30 minutes walk. Second thing which he must follow is he must avoid the saturated fats and meat from his diet. He or she should take fresh vegetables in its as a food. The person suffering from high blood pressure should avoid the smoking and drinking alcohol as well. So, this was about the blood pressure, in which the instrument which is used for measuring blood pressure is sphygmomanometer. Manometer is a term which is used for measuring the pressure, and sphygmomanometer for measuring the blood pressure of body. So, the next topic which we will discuss is intoxicants. The word itself reveals that toxicant is the toxic substances, and the word in is taking them in. So, willingly taking the toxic substances in the body are intoxicants. These intoxicants and their use are increasing in the society day by day. These toxicants have addictive nature, and people start its use for a feeling of pleasure, for escaping from the problems. But by using it, they have an addictive nature, so the person addicted to these kinds of substances and started to take them daily, and their daily uses and excess amount of use are harmful for the body and have many side effects. So, today we will discuss some of the intoxicants which are used day by day, which are increasingly used in our society. So, first of all, the term is gutka, in which gutka is composed of betel nut pieces, katha, lime, sands and some thin metal sheets. These were the components of a gutka. So, these gutkas are mainly chewed by the person. They have economic loss as well as have physical losses. By chewing the gutkas, the muscles of the jaws becomes hard, and this kind of disorder is known as mucosa fibrosis, in which there will be inflammation in the jaws and fiber tissues deposits at that place. Due to that kind of fibrosis, the jaws becomes harder. Synthetic products which are present in gutka leads to the cancer. So, carcinogenic agents, that is cancer causing agents, are present in gutka. In some gutka, tobacco are also present. So, the next intoxicant itself is tobacco. The tobacco is obtained from a plant Nicotina tabacum. The tobacco is obtained from the leaves of the plant Nicotina tabacum. So, the alkaloid which is nicotine is obtained from the plant. It is obtained from the leaves of plant. So, tobacco is used in many forms, like they are chewed and snuffed, mixed in the bidi, cigarettes, cigars, chillum and hookahs. In these forms, tobacco are used by people in various parts of society. Cigarette smoking. There are two types of cigarette smoking. First of all, active smoking, in which the person is directly smoking the cigarettes and taking the smoke inside the lungs. And the second one is passive, in which the person sitting besides the person directly user. Then in passive smoking, the air surrounding the person who is using it directly contains the smoke, that is the unburnt smoke of the cigarette, and the person sitting beside her takes that smoke along with the air. So, this was the tobacco. The plant from which tobacco is obtained is Nicotina tabacum. It belongs to the family Solanaceae. Solanaceae is a potato family. So, tobacco belongs to the family to which potato, tomato, these kinds of vegetables belong. Actually, this kind of substances, nicotine and any kind of alkaloid, are the defense mechanism of the plant. So, now we will discuss the losses which are involved in the tobacco chewing. So, first of all, the loss is the increased chances of mouth, tongue, throat cancer. By the regular use of tobacco, the chances of mouth, tongue and throat cancer increases. The cancer causing agent in tobacco is nicotine itself, which is also the addictive, which also have an addictive nature. Nicotine present in the tobacco thickens the wall of arteries, and due to the thickening of this wall of arteries, blood pressure as well as heartbeat of the person increases. In a pregnant lady, during the pregnancy period, when she takes the tobacco in excess amount, then the rate of embryo development decreases in the fetus. And the last one is carbon monoxide increment. The amount of carbon dioxide increases in the person's body, and due to that the carbon monoxide damages the red blood cells and affects the oxygen abundance in the body. These were the side effects of tobacco. So, some data related to the death of persons due to the tobacco chewing as well as using it as a smoking agent are given in your book, in which approximately 60 lakh people dies untimely every year because of tobacco use. Out of these, 50 lakhs are the direct users and 10 lakhs are the passive smokers. So, this was all about the gutka and tobacco. Now, the third discussion is about the intoxicant alcohol, in which the main constituent is ethyl alcohol, that is C2H5OH. The chemical formula of the main component of alcohol is C2H5OH, which is converted into acetaldehyde, that is CH3CHO, in the liver of the person. So, by alcohol drinking, the liver of person is mainly affected. So, first of all, many drinks have different kinds of alcoholic percentage. Some have very small percentage of alcohol in their drinks like beer and wine, but in whiskey, brandy and rum, the percentage of alcohol increases. Naturally, when we get an alcohol, then by the yeast only 13% alcohol content is present in the mixture, but by the process of distillation we can increase the alcoholic content. So, by increasing the alcoholic content, we can get a drink in which more amount of alcohol is present, that is brandy, whiskey and rum. After drinking alcohol, it will first reach to the liver and converted into the acetaldehyde, which is a highly toxic form of alcohol. Then the person's control on his actions decreases, his nervous system gets affected, mainly the hindbrain part, that is cerebellum, is affected. So, voluntary movements of feet and hands are not regulated by his will. Apart from these nervous system disorders, in the liver, a fatty liver syndrome condition appears, in which there will be inflammation in the liver, fibrous tissue deposition takes place in the liver. This kind of tissue and condition of liver is known as fatty liver syndrome. Due to the use of excess alcohol, it leads to its addiction for escaping from the problems, and as well as will have the economic loss to the person. Now, the next discussion is about the disorders related to smoking. So, the first of all and the most dangerous disorder is lung cancer. Second one is bronchitis. Itis is the term which is used for inflammation, and bronchitis is inflammation in bronchi. Third one is emphysema, which occurs mainly due to the smoking, as in which alveolar walls, that is the place where diffusion of gases takes place, are damaged. So, diffusion of gases decreases, so the amount of oxygen in the body also decreases, and due to the decrement in the amount of oxygen in the blood, several heart diseases occurs, the chances of heart attacks increases. Fifth one is ulcer, that is the inflammation in the digestive canal, that is in alimentary canal. These are the ulcers which occurs due to the smoking. Next one is the effects of alcohol drinking. So, the first of all, it decreases the blood glucose level, which is known as hypoglycemia. The condition of lowering blood glucose level is hypoglycemia. Second one is fatty liver syndrome. First of all, deposition of fat in the liver and then it becomes fibrous, which is known as liver cirrhosis, that is damage of liver. Third one is amnesia, that is loss of memory. The person taking excess amount of alcohol in their routine life, then they will suffer from loss of memory. Fourth one is immunity decreases, that is resistance against diseases is reduced in the person and he or she is more prone to the diseases. Fifth one, that is alcohol psychosis. It is a mental disorder due to the excess amount of alcohol in the body. This type of condition is known as alcohol psychosis. In common language, it is known as madness after taking alcohol in excess amount. Our next discussion is about drug abuse. So, first of all, we will discuss what is addiction and dependence and withdrawal symptoms are. So, first of all, addiction, in which there will be dependence, that means depending on a particular smell or a substance without which you will have some symptoms. If the toxic substances used are discontinued, these symptoms are known as withdrawal syndromes. If a person is having withdrawal symptom when the use of toxic substances are discontinued, then that type of condition of a person is known as addiction. So, these withdrawal symptoms are anxiety, nausea, increased heart rate, etc. So, when these kind of conditions appears in a person, then you can say that person is addicted to any kind of smell or a substance, like addicted to a tobacco, drugs or alcohol. So, first of all, we will discuss the three categories of the drugs. First one is opium, second one are cannabinoids and third one are coca alkaloids. They have different effects on the CNS and other parts of the body. So, first of all, opium, in which latex type substance is obtained from the Papaver somniferum. Capsule is a structure of plant from which latex is obtained. Many types of alkaloids, approximately 30 types of alkaloids are obtained from the opium, which have addictive nature. Some of them and the main addictive substances are morphine, codeine, nicotine, papaverine and somniferin. These kinds of substances are sedative. Sedative, that means they decreases the activity of CNS. In the heart surgery or any kind of surgery in which there is excess amount of pain, like in the labor pain, morphine is used so that the feeling of pain decreases, as the opium or these kinds of alkaloids, morphine or codeine, decreases the activity of brain so that feeling of pain will be reduced. So, opium are the drugs which are sedatives, that is painkiller, but their use apart from medicinal uses and the excess amount of use leads to several disorders in the body. Second ones are cannabinoids. They are obtained from the plant Cannabis sativa. The leaves of these plants have addictive nature, and by various combination of different parts of this plant, several types of drugs, that is hashish, charas and ganja, are obtained. These cannabinoids also have their effects on the CNS and may produce the hallucinations and helps the person in escaping from the tension or stress he is suffering from. Third one is coca alkaloids. The plant from which coca alkaloids are obtained is Erythroxylum coca. Coca alkaloids are mainly the stimulants. That means they increases the activity of brain. The person will have euphoria, that is a feeling of false happiness. He will have increased energy in his body. So, the person taking coca alkaloids is stimulative in nature. Several sports persons may abuse these kinds of drugs. The drug which is obtained from coca alkaloid is cocaine, which is a stimulant. Apart from this, one more drug which is not obtained from a plant, LSD. LSD is a drug, that is lysergic acid diacetylamide. These LSD are obtained from fungi, and most of the drugs are obtained from various plant parts and their combinations. So, So now we will discuss some preventive measures against the drugs and alcohol abuse. So first of all, avoid undue peer pressure. So a child should not be forced to perform unduly beyond his limits in any kind of activities, be it studies, sports, etc. As these kinds of pressure will drag the person to use the alcohol or drugs because they will let him feel better. Second thing is education and counseling. A person should know about the side effects of alcohol and drugs and must get involved in the other kinds of activities, the extracurricular activities involving sports, reading, music and yoga. After these kinds of education and counselings, even then a person is trapped in these kinds of drugs and alcohol abuse, then he must take the help from any medical practitioner. So seeking help, professional and medicinal help. Parents and friends must help a person to getting out of these kinds of drugs and alcohol abuse. Teachers, parents and the friends of a particular person should take care of that person and look at the danger signs. That means a person taking drug and alcohol will have a sleeping and eating time changing. So its lifestyle will be changed, his behavior will be changed, he will be more violent, aggressive and irritating. So in this chapter till now we have discussed the intoxicants like gutka, tobacco, alcohol and now finally the drugs. And we have also discussed the blood pressure and the disorders, that is low and high blood pressure, their effects and their treatment. Thank you.